Welcome everyone. This is another session and we will use again our previous code. The, so let's open that. If you remember, it was in this folder, HTML, CSS, winter, and let's open it. What did I open the whole? I think that's not what I want to open. That was by mistake. Yes. So I have to go to here and then here. I think it should. Yeah, we need just this one. And I was applying some CSS and cleaning what we wrote, and I come up with something like this, and I shared with you on Telegram. And now, as you can see, it's somehow polished. Yeah, it is looking like almost like a website. Just I added also some icons, as you can see, to make it feel somehow a website. Yeah. So HTML helps you to build the skeleton, and after that, it's up to you to make it look beautiful, and that is CSS. And for instance, instead of just normal table, I changed the table to something which I want to put. Have you seen here? Yeah, of course, we made a, I can open for you here. I can, what we had already. This is what we had last time. Yeah. So if you go to the contact us page, we made a kind of a table. So I made use of this table to something like this, because you should know how to change the code you have to something else. The form, I have this form, as you can see, I just modified it somehow to like this. Just it's somehow the same, but for instance, select the country, it's the same. But as you can see, copy paste, this has to be changed also somehow to the list it has here. And then I also apply some style, extra style, to make also the upload a bit different. If you see here, it's just the default one. So the reason why I told you to start a project, whenever you start a project, for instance, the input file gives you such kind of, choose a file, but maybe you want to change it to something fancy looking, something like this. Then you search. When you search, you learn. Yeah. So that's how you really master the skill you have. If not, if you don't use it, it starts vanishing in the just, yeah. Great. So today we'll work on this to make it look beautiful. Okay, great. But before that, let me just write down the topics which we are going to learn. Yeah, and that helps us. I will just see from Telegram, because I shared with you what we should learn this week, and that will help us to follow step by step. Yeah, maybe some of you might not sure know exactly the style. Still we go style. What is inline style, and what is internal style, and what is external style. And then again, we go CSS box model. CSS box model. I think if when I'm teaching this, it feels like the first day all over, but it's good, okay? Then colors, we have different colors. Colors by name, like red, blue, green, something like that. But we have also colors, RGB colors. RGB, like we pass different number, for instance, 0, 0, 0 is a black color, But why it becomes black, I will talk to you later, or we will talk about it later. And then hexadecimal colors. Yes, and then we will also talk about display properties. You may display in line or in line block or block. Yes, yeah, this is another is actually position. Position, we may have static position or relative or absolute or sticky position. Yeah, so yeah, so position display. Yeah, for instance, okay, but I'm writing on a markdown, right? Okay, so I think then if we have time, what we will see at the end is actually flex box. If we have time, we can see this, but if we postpone it to next week, that's also okay. Great. So I will come to this once in a while, to this page, to see if we are on track, and let's start coding. Yeah, this is what we have. Maybe I think let's create a separate page because it has lots of information and it may be hard to see. So I can just create a separate page and I call this a practice or test.html, right? Test.html. Great. And HTML, I have to just do, this is the test. You can call it test or you can just leave it like that. Oh no. Yes, test. And instead of running this, let's stop this one and this one. And instead I want to run this. As you can see, it doesn't have anything and there's nothing. But guys, why? Why you don't see anything on this page?
There's nothing inside the body.
That's true. There's nothing inside the body. This is a page to test. So now, since I write this, I should see this one. And at the taskbar at the top, also test the title, what you put here. Only this, you see it on the top, but anything else, the car set here, and anything you put in the head, all the meta tags, the links, the styles will not be displayed. Okay. Yeah. So now I told you that we can add inline style. If I am writing something like this color, and if I say this, I'm just writing a code as an attribute. So is it an attribute? Yes. Usually an attribute is something you write in the opening tag of an HTML element. This is an HTML element because it has an opening tag and, oh, sorry, why that happens, and close it. This has an opening tag, a closing tag, and a content. And we call this HTML element. Anything inside the opening tag, we call it attribute. This is a style attribute, and it allows the HTML element to look good. Yeah, so as you can see now, it's great. Great. We can even give it, this is how we separate it by semicolon. So font size, and I will give it maybe 60 pixels and it will be really big. Yeah, it's getting bigger. And maybe instead of this is welcome web Development. Yes. Yeah, we wrote that. And let me write more style actually. And I can say text transform to uppercase. That means I want it to be uppercases. And I want it to be to the center. Text align to the center. Yeah, it's okay. We can write something like this. But as you can see, this style, the problem of writing inline style, I will repeat this again. The problem of writing inline style. One, it is hard to modify it because if you write it to every page, you have to go to every page to modify it. So it's not a good idea. So instead, let's take this out and let's avoid writing inline style. And instead, we can create a style tag here. And then, since I'm interested on H1, let's say H1, I select it and put that code here. And it applies the same thing. This is better, right? So you just come here, and even this is not better if I am using, code for H1. Instead, it's better if we even put it in a separate file. How do we put it in a separate file? I can create here a file, and I call that test CSS. Okay. So I told you that we can link here, link. If you write link, it just bring for you. Just then I'm interested with this one. You link it to the test.css and you take this out. You don't need, yeah. So actually before I removed it, when we write next to the H1 as in attribute, we call it inline element, inline styling. This is internal style, but even we are not interested in the internal style, we are interested in external style. So you write it like this, and we should get the same output to know if it is, let's color green. What should be the color now?
Green.
Green. And why? Why? Because we have seen this last time. Why it's green instead of red?
Because the cascading, so
Yes.
it's the one at the bottom.
Yes, that's the cascading. The reason why we call HTML is cascading style sheet. It go from top to bottom, and they execute this, and then when it reach this, it override the previous. Yeah, but don't write such kind of code. Okay, even though you get the final, if you decide that you are happy with this, remove this. Great. Now, actually, we have finished the inline style, the internal style, and external style. Do you understand, guys, this?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, so by now everybody know what does inline style, something we write inside an opening and closing. Inside the opening tag as in attribute. And inline style is something we write here. Yeah, for instance, I can select the body here, and background, I can say, for instance, something like this. Yeah, so what do you expect now? The background will be such kind of a light blue color. Yeah, so instead, as I told you, this is not a good idea. Let's take that code just there. Yeah, and it's better to write it at the top, because the body is at the top, and then just based on their hierarchy or order. Great. And now, actually, even I want to talk about, it's not our plan to talk about this because after we talk about this, selectors, HTML selectors. Do you remember last time? Tag name, we can select by tag name. We can select by ID. Yeah, you tell me. By
class
at
attributes.
Attributes. Yes, great. We can select by that. So now let's move on here. I think this page, and add some of the boxes. Maybe we can create a box div. Oh no, that's not a div. Maybe I can add h1 here, and then Laura maps. I think introduction, and I can add p and the lorem ipsum maybe 3 times, and that will be just a kind of. I don't need this. Now I have some text, but have you seen this h1 is again also very big. Do you know why? Because I use h1, I selected it by tag name. So if you select by tag name, it affects everything. So maybe we can give it an ID. I can call it ID, and it's going to be a header, maybe title, because it's a title for the header. So how do we select? If it is an ID, we need a hash and followed by the name of the ID. Yeah, I think by now we should get the same result, but this one is okay. So we have to give also a different ID for this one. I mean, we may call it ID, and we can call it section ID, because ID for different sections we may most probably. Then I can give ID section ID, and color purple, and font size 12, text align center. Yeah, this should be. As you can see, now we changed it. So for instance, let me ask you, how many times can I give this ID? This name, my section ID, how many times, for how many elements can I give this section ID name?
One.
One. ID is just, you use it only once. Great. Now let's talk about another more divs. Maybe let's do like create boxes. Yeah. So these boxes, I'm interested to make maybe 3 boxes, as you can see. And div, you don't see a div. When you create a div, you don't see if there's a div or not. To know if there's a div or not, just put some value. So I am putting some value just like this, and then you start using. Okay, why you see this number vertically, not horizontally? This is another technical question. Okay, but not very technical, because you know it already. Why not horizontal?
Because the div take the space between the left to the right.
Yes, div is greedy, you know, so it doesn't allow anyone to come to the left or to the right. Or another term, if you remember, guys, this
box element or something.
Block element.
Block element.
Yes, it's they block. They are a block element. They don't allow others to come. So I want to apply similar CSS properties for these guys. So I want to have actually a div. I think I can, I'm no, sorry, a class, a common class. And I call this class box, where I can just copy this, yeah? So box. Of course, I can select them by name, by tag name. Let's try by selecting the tag name. Sometimes the problem of having an external style sheet, you have to go to you have to open a different file all over again. But sometimes even if I feel lazy, I write it here, and then when I finish, I transfer the code to that different file. That's up to you, but it's more clean to focus on something like this div, and I want to create a width, maybe I think height, maybe I think we can start with a border. Border is very good, 2 pixel or 1 pixel, it could be 2 pixel, solid, and any color. Maybe red is so easy to see, yeah? Yeah, as you can see, all the divs got a border, but I'm interested only these 3 guys. This is not my interest. My interest just for 1, 2, 3. So it's not a good idea. So I have to select it by class name, and that is box. Have you seen now? I select 3 of them. Yeah, but I don't like them to just take the whole weeds. So I can limit the weeds by giving weeds. So by default, it's 100%. So I want to just give it a fixed pixel, 250 pixel. Yeah, something like this. Now I can also give them a different, I think, ID for each of them like this. ID box 1. ID, what's the name for this going to be?
Box 2.
Yeah, box
2.
It should have also some kind of similar pattern. Other developers should anticipate or read so easily from what's going on there. So as you can see, these all have one thing in common. All do have the class box, and they have also box 1, box 2, box 3, a unique ID to be identified. Yeah. Or instead of writing it as ID, how about if we write it inside it? What am I really doing? There. Okay. Box 1. How about if I write it like this instead of like this? Is it okay? Do you think is it okay?
You need a underscore under, I guess,
I can
between box and box 2 and box 1 and box 3, right?
No, I'm just want them to be like this. Not just this is separate by itself, box, and this is. Do you think is it possible?
Is it? I think you needed like an underscore, right? Something between them.
No, you can. So class can take multiple names. So box, this is something they have in common. And this is actually act as an ID. Yeah. For instance, let me show you by selecting box 2. How do I select box 2? Tell me. Since it is a class name, I have to have the dot. And background color, I can give it just black, is so easy color to get. Have you seen it? So we can give multiple class name. It's not just 2, you can give many. Okay, another example, let me show you for that. If you go here down all the way, the font awesome, Font awesome usually, have you seen this font awesome? The font awesome icon is actually I, and it has a class. Yeah, this is specific for font awesome. All the font awesomes do have this FAB, but this is specific for GitHub. This is specific for LinkedIn. This is specific for Twitter. So what you should understand from this, you can give multiple class names for HTML element. Yeah, it's not only. Now you can also add your own to whatever, like whatever here. For instance, see, if you don't like this F GitHub Square, I can just change it to actually a very good name, GitHub. Instead of calling it by this, I can use this GitHub. And if I'm not interested in that, I can just call it LinkedIn. And I can call this also Twitter. So how many classes does this I can have? How many class names?
Is it 3?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All of them. But I can leave it like that, but I don't need them since I'm not using it now, but it's doable and applicable like that. Okay, great. So instead of having an ID, you can have a unique class name. So, and you can use it like that. So I'm showing you that you will face such kind of things at some point. That it's important, and you will not be surprised. But we can keep the ID way, okay? Because to make use of both ID. Box 3. Great. Now this is how it looks like, but I think I want to also give it some height. Yeah. If we want to give it some height, maybe height, and I will give it to 400 pixel, and it will be long. Yeah, nice. Oh yeah, one after another. Yeah, this is. So as you can see, I want to also change this instead of box 1, I want to give it HTML, and for this one CSS, and for this one JavaScript. Great. If you are writing some comment, I didn't see the comment box for so long. Let me go there and see what's happening, you know. Yes. Yeah, as you can see, you have 3 boxes, but I think the height is really too much and it's hard to even see it. So we can stick into maybe 250 pixel and it looks like square. And now if you want to make this to the center, where are you? Where do you apply the style? If you want to make this to the center, where do you want to apply? In here or the box? Let's go to step by step. Box 1 we have here, and box 2, right? And box 3. So if you want to make the content to come to the center, where do you put the style? Because you want all of them to come, so you have to go to here, text align center. It's at the center. Maybe you want it to be even, I think now horizontally at the center, but vertically at the center, somewhere there. So at least what I can do, give the line height, the same height. For instance, the same height for the box. That means 250 pixel. That fix for you. and it should be at the center now. Yeah, great. But maybe you don't like it to be displayed like this. But I think before that, let's give them different color. Yeah, this one for HTML. I think HTML logo color is somehow a kind of, I remember actually such kind of a color. Yes. And for CSS, CSS got actually some kind of a color, but something like this. Have you seen? Oh, this color that's not what I want. Anyway, yeah, this is not the color we want. Instead, this is the color we want. Okay, good. And then for JavaScript, let's give some background of yellow, something. You can select one of the color, and then after that, if you hover, it gives you some kind of yellow colors.
Could I ask something
Yes.
about this VS Code?
Yeah.
If you like to, if you're in the this CSS file in VS Code, and you like to find, for example, where is this title one in your page or code? Is there some find? What is it called? Can you find? Can you write like box one and find it from your code?
Title, which title this? You mean this?
No, I mean.
If you want to search like a specific word in your code, can you open
Yes.
a box and just like type, I don't know, box?
Yes,
and
if I'd like
Yes,
to
yeah, you can.
know where the CSS code is.
Oh, okay, I see.
What's the
Oh,
word?
yeah. Yeah, I got it. But so you know it's. I mean, yeah, I got what you meant. For instance, you write it the way you should get it. That's not something because you know it already. And for instance, we have this file, right? This the CSS file.
Yeah.
And all the time you structured it at the very beginning. Last time also I was trying to show you guys. For instance, I usually put this is something related to the body, yeah, body CSS, and something here is the header part. And maybe if I am apply somewhere here, if I have a footer, and then I organize my CSS. I think, did I get your point?
Yeah, I was just wondering when I was typing this code we had last time, and I was reading this CSS file we wrote, and I didn't remember, for example, what was padding margin and where it was in the code. I was wondering if I can search that specific line from the code.
Oh, so how about if you just write and I think you can look, you can search. Yeah, so how about searching normally?
Yeah.
Search.
If you would like to that hashtag header title
Yes.
in your CSS and you want to know where that is in your page HTML code page.
You search it, for instance, as you can see. If that's the case, you just do normal search. Do you see now where I'm getting it?
Yeah. Okay.
Is it what you want?
So if you now put that header title without the hashtag, then it should.
It should bring. I don't have him. It should show me where I have in this page. Have you seen?
Yeah. That what I was asking.
Okay.
So you can find it. You can find where it affects, where that CSS affects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For CSS, for HTML, for anything, you just control. I think control shift for me. This how I open. But where is there? There should be
Control F, I think.
Huh?
Control F
Yeah.
is search at least.
Yeah. Control F just open for you to search, and then you search it. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not only for CSS. It works for anything to search on your file. Okay, great. Let's come back to this. Where are we? So we have this thing, and let's remove the border now. We don't need that border anymore. So you can remove that border. For some reason, the border is so scary. Okay, so but maybe you don't like this to be go one after another. How about if you want to display this horizontally?
You have to change the display.
Yes, the display. But before that, guys, did you understand now the difference between ID and class? Class is something you apply for everything, and ID is something you apply for a specific. I use the ID to make this somehow kind of orange. I use the ID to make this blue. I use the ID to make this yellow because it's specific for this. But I use the class to use the common widths and height to make this to the center. And now again, I can apply the display flex to the box. I mean, the display inline block, because by default, it is block. Have you seen now? It looks good. Okay, great. Maybe also if you forgot this border radius, if you want to have a sharp ending, the sharp edge, instead of sharp edge, you may want to have kind of rounded or smooth, right? And then actually you can use 5 pixel, and if you see now, it has some kind of smooth. And if you increase this, it will be very rounded. For instance, 50 pixel, and it will be rounded. If you want to make this circle, the best way is using a radius more than 45% or 50%. It makes it a circle, but even that's not good. I think it's better to use 50 or 100%, and that makes it a real circle. Yeah, so it's so easy to change a square to a circle in CSS, but that's not our point today. Just let's work on this. Okay, and now you learn how to display something in line block. How about if it was just in line? Actually, if we just change it in line, huh? Have you seen something? Can you say something about for this? All our properties have gone. What we have is the background color. And I can see also the border radius. Maybe the font size also. Let me remove the font size. No, even we don't have font size actually. Yep, have you seen? That means actually inline, this display inline, if you apply width or height, it doesn't take. Yeah. So the common property of that is actually span. Let me write for span. Span 1 and span 2, span 3. If you now, I should have this span, but let me just have some break in between. I have 3 spans now. Let me select these spans here. Border 2 pixels solid. Maybe I can just orange. Yeah, these guys are spans, and by default, actually, they are inline. So if you give them height, let's see if it's applied. 50 pixel. I'm giving 50 pixel height. Have you seen? You don't see the height. Width. Let's try to increase the width. Again, maybe 150 pixel. No, nothing happened. So what we learn from here, if the display is inline, you can't change all the properties, especially the width, the heights, and even the margin. So the margin somehow works like, but not the way you want. 50 pixel. Yeah, it works somehow. But to be sure, I want you to change that to display inline block. And now, have you seen that? All the widths we apply, all the heights we apply showed up. So now you can even text the line center and line height. It could be 50 pixel and it could be at the center. Yep. So this is a very common property of inline elements. Yeah, but now we don't have any intention to make this inline. So let's just change to inline block. And I thought I made it inline block. Oh yeah, I didn't finish with a semicolon. Great. Is it clear, guys, the difference between block, inline block, and yeah, block, inline block, and inline. You may not need any space here if you want. So what you do, margin bottom, and you give it like 30 pixel, and all the boxes will have a very good spacing. Now, even there's no good spacing between these boxes, right? I want to add a space in the left side, from the right side. Have you seen from this side? So I can add specifically for here, margin right, maybe 25 pixel. And I want to implement also for this one, for the second one. Yeah, something like this. If you want to increase, you can maybe change this to 50 and change this to 50. There, I didn't apply for the third. Guys, did you understand what I'm doing?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, so what we learned now is display inline block, and display block. Block usually looks like this, and you don't have to worry about it. It takes all properties you give. Let's change this to, if I just comment this out, by default it's a block, and it looks like this, but you want it to be maybe in horizontal, so you should use inline block. Inline block acts as like a block, but it align horizontally. But if you change it to just inline, inline doesn't take height, it doesn't take width, it doesn't take some of the CSS properties. It will be like this, and you can't do with this, right? You can't do anything with this. Okay, but you can add padding. It takes padding. If I just down now add padding, maybe 25 pixel, that will be a bit somehow, yeah? So you should know what inline block can take, and but you don't need most of the time inlining, because you should really change it right away to inline block. And we don't need also this extra padding. Oh yeah, so let's see what we covered now. We covered this, great. We, I mean, we were almost covering this. We saw by tag name, by ID, by class, by attribute. Now, by attribute, for instance, I think I can implement something, because today is also kind of revision, so it will help you to remember. So for instance, we have here an input, div, like I may have here subscribe, 3 maybe, subscribe for our news letter. Yeah, and maybe you may have an input box here, and then you may have a button here, subscribe. Have you seen? You have a subscribe there, and instead of like, if I select the input, so write subscribe for newsletter CSS, newsletter CSS. You can select input, and then like you apply different properties. For instance, border 5 pixels, solid, right, because it's easy for me to see. Have you seen it? It's applied. But if I have many, of this type, input type, this selecting by tag name will affect it. So we don't use that. Instead, we use actually attribute. We can use the different attribute. For instance, I can give it a name. The name of it could be a news letter, but usually we can use, it's a type, it's a text type, and now we can use that type text. And now still it's selected. Yeah, because it's the type's text. But how about if I change the type to email? Because we want to collect from here on email, right? So it is not selected because the type is still text. So I have to go here and change it to email type. Now you learn how to select by attribute, and let's make it also look good. Instead of just red, let's just make it a bit brighter, and maybe we can add some padding, and maybe 5 pixels is good. Yes, and now it looks okay. We have to make the button is also somehow bigger, and how do we, because the button also, you know, you may have different buttons. So this button could be, oh no. Yeah, okay. So I can have a type submit. Yeah, but a button can be also, it may have a type. So I can write button and type submit. Color, background color, green. Let's see. Yeah, have you seen it? Yes. And now let's padding 5 pixel again, because I want to make somehow similar to that. And we don't need this extra border. Maybe we can have 2, or maybe even we don't need a border here. And as you can see, our button doesn't really look good. So border, even you can remove the border, as you can see, by using none. And it looks like that. And border radius, 3 pixel. And it may look now much better, but still it needs a bit of a padding, a kind of maybe 10 pixel. Oh yeah. So, but styling takes some time. We are not just proper styling now. It's up to you to make this look good and the same size, but by giving different properties. Color white might be better for that background. Yeah. And still maybe we can go up to 8 pixels. It looks somehow there. So have you seen, now we learn how to use attributes for selecting. So now we're done with this CSS box model. I think we learned this already, but it's very important to talk about it again. Do you remember this CSS box model? I think I have to use again this. Maybe I think I have to write a note here. Every HTML elements are like a box. How about, yeah? So every element, every HTML elements are like a box. What does that mean? Okay, I will demonstrate that by where this is the, I think I can see it. We don't need this file. Maybe it's here. So let's create another file and just maybe H1, you know, CSS box model. Yeah. Have you seen this text? We say this the content, yeah. And I want to call this class name, because in CSS box model, or yeah, I want to select it here, .css box model. It's better to maybe, it's okay, but box model, and border 2 pixel right, solid right. Let's see this. Don't you see don't you see a box? You see a box, right? Okay.
Yep.
Let's create Y, and maybe we can go for span. Just some content. And we're interested class, another CSS box, model 2, because I'm practicing for both. I can select it. By the way, we can do multiple selection, right? CSS box model and the 2. Yeah, so you can use a comma and select multiple items using tag name, using ID, using attribute. Yeah. Yes. For instance, for me, this, and you, if you want this and this similar, comma, and you bring this part. Yes. Have you seen again? This has a box. It looks like a box, but they are different. Tell me the difference between this box and this box.
One is a block element.
That's true. This one is a block element, and this is an inline element. So the box, this one, the difference, it took just the whole width, but still what it has is actually, it has padding. So I think I should draw that picture all over again, and it can help you to visualize, and it will be the last. Yeah, okay, drawing, I need this. Thank you. It would have been much better if the color was a bit red. Can I change it? Clear. Clear all drawings. And now I think you can make it somehow right. Yes. Yes, great. And let's write some content over here. Content goes. Oh, it sticks in there. Yes. Okay, and okay, anyway, so we have this, and as you can see, this content is somewhere, and every HTML element has this thing. Yeah, so we call actually this, what do we call this?
Padding.
Padding. Yes, the distance between the content and the border. This is the border. So maybe it's good also to write a border. Border. This is the border. I think it's better if I just write it like this. And a margin. Where is a margin? Margin. Free area somewhere here. Margin. I can just move this also down here. Yeah, margin. Maybe I can margin bottom. Margin top. Margin left. Here we have. Yeah, no duplication. Okay. Margin right. Yes. The same goes for the padding. Padding top, padding left, padding right, padding bottom. Border, we can also give the border differently. Border bottom, border top, border bottom, border left, and border right. This principle, just the CSS box model is this principle. We call it the CSS box model. And in interview, they may ask you, can you explain what the CSS box model? You may say, actually, every HTML is like a box, and inside the box we should have a content, and that content has a padding. And actually the padding is the distance between the content and the border. So that means this HTML box surrounded by a border, and the free area between the border and other elements, we call that margin. Yeah, as you can see, the margin is outside of that. Yes, this is CSS box model. In reality, let's see how it looks like in just, okay, we don't need any of that. Okay, so let's focus on our CSS box model. This is, let's see the box we're interested, and now we don't have one, so I mean that one. Let's give it width, because it's taking the maybe 500 pixel, and height I can give it also maybe 300 pixel or whatever. I'm just giving random. Have you seen this box? So what's the border? As you can see, I gave it already a border, right? But I told you that's also possible to give it different border. Border bottom 2 pixel solid green. So that means I just gave only for the bottom. And it's hard to see. You can make it 20 if you want. Yeah, okay. How about border top 20 pixel solid red? And actually it's usually a good idea to start from top and then to the right, and then to the bottom border bottom, and then if I give 20 pixel solid yellow, and by now you may see some kind of have you seen it? Yes, and then we can post the other with some kind of border. That side is left, right, and then 20 pixel solid and some light blue color. Yes. Now we have, and now we know the what we call it, the border. Let's give it a margin from this side. Because it's a margin left, I want to push it by 100 pixel. You see, I pushed it from this 100 pixel. What do you think if I push it by minus 100 pixel? Even you can give negative, okay? That means you are really pushing it the other way. Yeah. Now, maybe this is also too close. I want to also push it down. So I can use, tell me, what could be margin? Maybe 50 pixel. Yes, push it somehow like that. So this is also somehow attached, right? So there should be a padding there. Maybe padding 25 pixel. Yeah, do you know when I gave a padding? Since I gave a padding, the box size increased, right? Have you seen it? Guys, did you notice that?
Yep.
So, but that affects the layout of your page. That will affect the layout of your page. So last time, if you remember, I have used this universal selector. Do you remember the universal selector? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think it selects everything.
Yes. If we say color red, everything will be red. Yeah, everything. So it selects everything. So we use this CSS, box model, box sizing. We use border box. This will fix this problem. Have you seen now? We got the same size again, even though I am increasing the padding. Where was the padding? Let's go. Yeah, padding. Even I give now 50 pixel, it doesn't affect it. Where did, yeah, 50 pixel. Yeah, let me add more. 100 pixel. Yeah, have you seen? It doesn't affect the size of the box. But now, for instance, I gave it 100 from here to here and here and here. It's 100. If I remove this box sizing, let's see what it will happen. Oh, have you seen? But this is not what you want, right? Yeah. Now I think you understand the purpose of box sizing. The box sizing will keep the size of your div the same, even though you are increasing the border size and the padding size. Okay, great. Change this. Okay, now we are done with CSS box model. Such a very good model. Did you get the CSS box model? Can you answer if you asked during interview?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think now it's a very, very good time to have a 10-minute break, and we will get back at 7, even if you have more 3 minutes. Yeah, let's have a break. Welcome back, everybody. This is where we stopped before the break. We learned CSS box model, and whenever you apply this border margin padding, it's a good idea to make the box sizing border box. Okay, this really fixes quite a lot of problem. So after that, I will use this line of code in everything I use, so don't be surprised. Okay, great. So let's see what's next. Now you know this, so let's remove, it's really good when you remove the topics we have here. So I think instead of colors, I prefer to talk about, I think we talked about this already. So then let's talk about this position, static, relative, absolute. Yes, we learn about positioning. Okay, great. So we have how many positions? We have actually 4 positions: static, relative, absolute, and sticky. I think I would also get some support from W3 School, CSS. If I get lost, or maybe if I forget something, I can make use of the CSS they have here. For instance, I go to positions. Yeah, as you can see, they put it really CSS layout, the position property. So the position property, as you can see, you have this static, relative, fixed, absolute, and sticky. then by default it is static. So that means by default this is static. Someone asked me last time why our website is all the time from just top to bottom. Why? Because someone was interested to add. You want to add something here and then another thing here. So far we have been just putting things one after another from top to bottom because we've been just using the default static, okay? We didn't change the position. If you don't know how to use the different positions, don't touch it, okay? Don't touch it if you don't know how to use it very well. Okay, so let's do something. Where are we? Maybe I think I can create this differently. This, for instance, I can put this in a box, in another box. These guys, I can put them in another div, and I call this I can give it an ID or a class, and I call it boxes. Boxes, is this like how we write it? But it doesn't matter. So I have a boxes. Let me go to here, and I have a boxes wrapper. Boxes. Just to see the background color, like just give it a blue or some light blue, something. And if you see, yeah, this is our box inside a box. Yeah, I see. So let's change the position of the box. Position, absolute. Have you seen there's some kind of mess, right? Some mess happened. How about if I just change it to static? If I change it to static, it will be the same because the default is already, yeah, but I think it's a very good idea to change the background color because it's not a very good background color. I can just have some kind of, yeah. Have you seen this? Static. The static doesn't affect, but if I change this to absolute, it affected. Absolute means relative to the parent. Relative to the parent div. Yeah, let me check. Let me show you here. Absolute is positioned relative to the nearest positioned ancestor instead of positioned relative to the viewport. For instance, I think this is even much better. Have you seen we have this, the external, the parent. If we position this, if you give a position absolute, it is relative to this div, the external div. Yeah, maybe I think instead of even, I think I'm interested more in a border because the border might be just border to pixel and solid, some kind of a blue color can help us. Yeah, so now just instead of absolute, we will come to the absolute letter. So I am interested in relative. Okay. Yeah, the relative doesn't change anything. But yeah, the relative is actually doesn't change anything, but it make these guys to move around. What? Okay, let me show you something. Just forget about this. And now if I want to move this to the left, this, I have to use some kind of padding or something, but there is actually this top bottom. So if I change this to absolute, this area will be like a seed, you know? If there is a sea, the boats can sail, right? So these guys now, they can sail around this sea, and I have to change this the position of these guys also absolute. So the container, the parent should be relative, and the boxes should be absolute. And you will see a very big difference now. Have you seen? What did you see here? But we should also give some height for this one. For instance, height, maybe, what's the height? At least enough space for this. Maybe 300 pixel. Yeah. Have you seen, guys? So where are the other boxes? Where's the HTML? Where's the CSS? It drowned in the sea. Yeah.
On top of each other?
Yes, on top of each other. So did I tell you that now this is like almost like a sea, and it allows us to move this to anywhere we want them. Maybe even I have to give it more height, and you will see like when it moves around. So to see actually, now what you see, the last on the top, the JavaScript. So I think I can go, and this the HTML, I can move it a bit left. Yeah, left. I can give it, how much is the distance? As you can see, each box got how many widths? How much widths? 250 pixels. 250 pixels. So to see the others, at least I have to push them by 250 pixels. So to the left, 250 pixel. Have you seen it? Yeah. And now to push, but I think this should be there. Instead, we should push the CSS, right? Because it doesn't make sense. I can push the CSS out. Yeah, now the CSS. Now I have to push again the JavaScript. How much? Tell me, calculate according to your calculation. How much could it be to make the JavaScript, to bring the JavaScript here?
500.
Yes, plus 2. Yes, the plus 250, 250 plus 250. Yes, great. So 500 pixel. Yeah, now we got this. Maybe we don't now need this the border, because I want this border radius. What is it? I don't need it. Now we managed to actually use top. Maybe if you are using position absolute, you can use left, right, top, and bottom. Okay, so far I was using just from the left, right? How about if I want this a bit down or up? For instance, top, I want from 50 pixel. Yeah, have you seen now? It's a bit, and even I want it to be like one on top of another. Okay, instead of 250, I just want it to be 200. And also this, maybe I can leave for 150, and then it will be on top of each other. Have you seen this? No, on top of each other. But maybe I want the CSS to be on top of both. On here, as you can see now, it's on top of the HTML, but it's not on top of the JavaScript. It is underneath, right? Okay, so I go to there is this Z index. The Z index is actually to make to take HTML backward and forward. For instance, if I give it -1, it will be maybe I have to give for this one Z index 2. X about 1.
I think it's more because we moved the box 250 on the left, and we also moved the box 350 on the left. So that means they still stick together.
But I was thinking to get this some part. So do you?
Because if we move the blue one 50 on the left and also the yellow one 50 on the left,
Yeah.
there's the border will be the same all the time because we move 50 and 50.
Oh yeah. Okay. So let's
I think.
see. Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. So it should be somehow.
Maybe 100.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. That's a very. So box 2 should be actually 300. Yeah. So this could be just 500 as it was. But no, that's not actually in the state. This could be there 200 as it was.
Yeah, I think the left one's there.
Yes, then state this should be somehow instead of, how about 200, 200, at least 400 should make it. Yeah. Have you seen now this? This is what I was thinking to put on top. Can we take this down inside? Like now we're getting this to the front. We can also take it to the back. Do you think is it possible? So we use the Z index. Whenever you want something to come to the front, you use positive. For instance, we use positive for the CSS, for box 1, for box 2, and we use negative for this. But we just do the opposite. Let's make this negative. And even if we don't have this, maybe it goes. So what is the purpose of this position absolute? Maybe you want to center something, you know? If you know how to use positioning properly, then you know how to put anything you want anywhere. Yeah, so it's really important. So first you should change the parent to what? Tell me, the parent should be?
Relative.
Relative. So whenever you change the parent to relative, it will be like a C. Then these are like the bolts. They can float so easily. For instance, if I want this HTML to come here, you know what I do? Help me, guys. It's so easy. So I go here and actually write 0. Yeah, it's there almost, but this is because of the padding. It has some padding. Now I will remove the padding they have. So because it's affecting it, I can remove the padding they have and the common paddings. Why this space? This space is because of maybe some padding, height.
The margin.
Where do I have margin?
Margin right 50.
Yes. Yeah, these are the margin I have there. Thank you. Yeah. Have you seen now? Well, how about if I want to take this to the corner here? This to this corner. The CSS to this corner.
Bottom left 0.
Yes. Okay, so this since it's CSS, I just left 0 and bottom 0. It should take that. Oh, what is that? Left 0, bottom 0.
You have a top 50. I think you got to take that out.
Where the top 50
Down a little bit there.
let's see, yeah, that's affecting it down. Yeah, the one I gave at the beginning. Yeah, have you seen now? I managed to move this, and if I want to take this to the center, you can bring it here or here, whatever. So you can develop a game, and your game canvas could be somewhere around, and the players' playground will be this. I mean, you don't develop a game using HTML and CSS, but using JavaScript is possible. But understanding only JavaScript also doesn't help. You should know this important tool, CSS too. Yeah. So that is actually the position absolute. So let's talk about the positions again, because position static is the default. It doesn't change anything, yeah? Okay, great. It does not change anything. If you apply or not, it's the same, okay? How about position relative? It is this almost the same as static, but it allows children to move to be absolute. I mean, to be absolute. So as a rule of thumb, to make absolute, first you have to make the parent relative. Yeah. So if we make absolute, that means that position is actually absolute position from where? Relative to the parent. This is a absolute position relative to the parent. What's the parent? This blue div, blue border, this div. So it has some distance from here, about 400 something, and 0 from the top. And this is also absolute position. It relative to this div, the parent div, okay? Great. Now, let's see what's the other position. Position static. Position fixed. Yeah, for position fixed is actually relative to the viewport. I will show you. An element with position fixed is positioned relative to the port view. What is port view? Port view means this area, the body area, the area which you see. Yeah, so that is in our case In our case, all this area is black. So now let's create a header and make it positioned actually. Do you remember the header semantic tag? And we can put at least this in the header. Yeah. Now, when I'm scrolling, actually the header is hiding itself. Yeah. I mean, it's hiding. Yeah. But we can actually make it stick here. Okay, how can we do that? So we can select the header over here and position fixed. Have you seen now? It's fixed. So whenever you use position fixed, most of the time you use for navigation. For instance, you want this to be the navigation and you want to be like there all the time. For instance, this, when we navigate, we may want to keep this like over here all the time. So what the rest of the content will go up, but this header should be here all the time if we use fixed. But now, since our content is not very good, we don't have navigation and something like that, you don't see something amazing. So that's the role of the fixed. And the same as like absolute, we can adjust this. We can make it bottom, right, and left, something like that. For instance, this one is positioned at the top, so it's taking the physical position, the position where it was, but you know, there's still some gap. So I want it to be position top 0. Okay, because there might be some gaps because of the, let's see, H1, header title, color this, okay. Anyway, it's good to also put headers at the top during CSS. Top. Yes, of course, we have to also push this somehow down, this part. So the easy way to do that, we have to give it a margin. For instance, there should be some kind of margin of 50 pixels, and there will be or we can categorize. Do you remember how I used to categorize this? So now we have here the header and we have here the main, and then we can put everything inside the main. So now at least I can just put some main margin top about 20 pixel, and instead of here, and that will okay. Does anyone support me here? How can I make this down?
Could it be the positioning? You had the position in, was it absolute, or you changed the positions of the segment underneath?
Which one?
Let's see. You changed the position of the box that you hunted with the colors.
Even here?
All of that. Didn't you change that?
So this positioning is specific for this. And now we want this to the web development. I think let's also make the size, where is it? Somehow moderate size, about 40 pixel. But we want this, let me see the main area, because the main area is, I can't see where it is, border 2 pixel solid rate. Oh, not here. Here. Yes, so we want this, I think then position. Maybe I have to give this here. No, it's somehow okay, but it's not okay actually. Margin top 150 pixel. Yeah, I think the margin I was giving was too small. Yeah, because the area of this already, as you can see this, let's see, a very good way to see whenever you do, just apply border for everything solid. And if we give again red, as you can see, it's already this size, so you have to push it down this. So even we don't need this relative, I think it could be just like that. Yeah, this is how we can do.
What's the reason that they have they can overlap each other? So you had like one on top of the other.
Because I give just a small margin, and now it should overlap again, as you can see.
But I mean, like, they're not block elements anymore.
Okay, yeah, I told you that if you are using if you are using just without changing the position, it is static. Static means anything you write from top to bottom will be arranged properly. But once, if you start changing the position, for instance, I change the position of the header to fixed, and then this starts from the ignore.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the main ignore that. It doesn't know anyway anymore. So it's really good to understand how this works. But if I remove this, everything will be fine again. Have you seen the natural flow? This is the natural flow.
Exactly.
But now when I'm scrolling it, it will hide. But our purpose is to keep this here to whenever we scroll it. So the reason I need to fix it, but I have to push it somehow this down. The main 150 pixel could be good enough, but as you, well, yeah, okay, that's fine. But as you can see, after we changed the position also, it's not anymore to that. So we have to just, it takes a line to the center. And now actually, yeah, because now even this is not even adjusting it, because it is
fixed.
It is fixed. So I have to use some kind of top, or no, right, what's left, maybe kind of 250 pixel, something like that. Yes, but this kind of alignment, if you don't understand it very well, just what you get is really messy. Now, as you can see, I have here, but have you seen now? It's covered, right?
Do you have to change the z index for the main?
Yes. For this one, this should be at the top.
Plus,
so you should give it, what do you like to give it? Something bigger, something 100, because this, we want that to be all the time bigger than any of. So this, by the way, the number, if you are putting 1 and 2, the value which has 2 will come to the front, okay? So the one which has 100 comes all the time to the front. So the reason why I'm cut, have you seen it? Yes. So just give it, well, it could be 1,000. Why? Who cares? Just to put it. Anyway, bigger number. Okay, I'm not going to give up to 100 for different indexes, but now I chose to make it 100, or maybe just put it 10, so it doesn't really matter, but something bigger. So yeah, now we learn this. Actually, this C index also, for instance, we have seen it also here, right? To put things, to arrange things like, where is it? Here. Maybe we don't need this much of a distance. Left 250 pixel, and we don't want it to go to the bottom. And maybe we need this just 500. And let's see now how it looks like. Yeah, I think it's still far apart. What shall we fix to get that back? We have 250, okay. The HTML, this is the box 1, right? Box 1. It seems for me right, but why is that acting like that? Is it really working? I'm afraid. Sometimes it's stuck. Okay. Why it's not moving? Help me out, guys. I don't see the problem here because.
Fixed to the right.
Did I hear any voice from somewhere?
Yeah, it's the first box. Isn't it fixed to the right side? Doesn't it say right 0?
Your mic's not good. Left. Okay, yeah, thank you. Yes, because still we put it the right 0, so we have to just remove this. We don't want it to go there. Yeah. Now we fixed it. So for instance, if you want some kind of hierarchy, a bit of like down, you may add, for instance, top, maybe 25 pixel, and again, top, maybe 50 pixel, and we've created some kind of hierarchy one after another. So sometimes you may design something which has some hierarchy. Yeah. So I want this to be on top of that. So this should be index. Then this should be 1. Maybe I can make it 1. And this should be index, the index 2, or the index 2, because this should be greater than this one to be on top. But since these are far, because I have used 250, very far, so I want it just up to 200, and this should be also just up to 400. Yeah, have you seen now? So we make on top of something like that, the z-index, the power of the z-index. Okay. So we use the z index to fix this thing, and also sometimes to make something. And I think some image, I mean they pointed out or something, making image out using z index. If we see image, yeah, for instance, have you seen the peak of this, the on top of the text? Have you seen it? Yeah, this. Yep. Did you see this? I hope you
Yep.
see
Yes.
such kind of things. So it's possible using the z index. You feel that the person is coming out, or maybe the line is just jumping from the screen. Yeah, those kind of things also can be achieved using positioning and this z index. Okay, good. Now I think we have covered the different positioning, where left with static is covered, the relative is covered, fixed is covered. What is left is sticky. Sticky. The sticky actually position sticky. Sticky. It stick in one place, but let me, I think it's better if I showed you from here. An element with position sticky is positioned on the user's scroll position. Maybe I think there's also a test. Have you seen this? It's a stick stuck on here, right? Yeah, it's stuck on here. You scroll when you scroll it, but if it reaches to the top of the viewport, it doesn't go after that. Yeah, because a stick, if you change this to actually bottom zero, let's run it. It should show at the bottom. Maybe we don't do that. Let's just implement that on our. Okay. I can just write, I would like to be stuck in here. So we go here and we have one P, right? Actually, we have to give it a name. So ID sticky text, for the time being, I want to call it sticky text dot sticky text position sticky. And if you just apply this sticky, you don't see much change, right? But if we change the position, bottom top 0, okay, let's see what. Because sometimes we should be careful of support. Have you seen, for instance, it's not supported by Safari? So we should use this one. I think on our device, it should work. I mean, on my Chrome, I am using Chrome, so it should work. But let me see, I think sticky. Yeah, and depending on the scroll position relative until a given offset position is made. top. Why it's not moving? Let's just the sticky position is right. Let's put it here, for instance. Did I select it properly? Oh no, have you seen how I selected? Should be ID. Yeah, have you seen now? For instance, the position is here and it will be stick that there. Okay, let me also change the position actually. For instance, if you change this to here, if you put it somewhere here, it's here, right? Of course, we don't have more content and you don't see how much it can go. So to see more content, we have to put the lorem. We have to make the content bigger sometimes. Have you seen it didn't go because it's top 0. And if you change this to bottom 0, actually, it may just stick bottom 0. Where is it? Yeah, we have this one. It is here. Where is it? Yeah, I should see it somewhere, but maybe let's even add more content. Yeah, have you seen it? Have you seen it up here? Yeah, if there is some more content, yes, but if you're getting it down, yeah, it's sticking here. Have you seen it? Now we made it to stick at the bottom. So this is something you want it to stick at some point, at somewhere, yeah? When the user scrolls down, I want this to be visible all the time. If you want it to be visible all at the top, you change it to just this top and it will be top. Yeah.
And can you stop the position, the sticky position at some point? That you scroll and at the moment the elements goes away and you can continue to scroll without the box.
Yeah, that would be possible with the implementation of JavaScript together.
Okay.
Yeah, but yes, but that's a very good idea. I think, for instance, you want to this one, for instance, such kind of button. Of course, yeah, this goes down, but some buttons, if you have seen that, this will appear only when you are yeah, it shows up somehow, not all the time, but it shows up once in a while. So to make such kind of a feature, you may use a sticky. You just, have you seen, this is fixed actually, but the stick is just to stick at the top or at the bottom or somewhere based on this. Yeah, I think that is, yeah, you rarely use this. And as you can see, it is related to the scroll. Try to scroll inside the frame. Okay, I think we have to be done with the...
A question, Azal. If you stick different div,
yeah,
is like a line or it will be like block?
yes. Block, you can, I think you do any, for instance...
You know, at the end, like when you scroll, you can like create a sentence. If you know what I mean?
For instance, I can have this div. No, wait. Div, and I can say, let's see this. Yeah, I have this is just by default relative. Oh, I think that's wrong. Yeah, this. Yeah, what do you want this to be?
Like another sticky, position sticky, this. And that means like when we scroll the screen, the first box, the first div will be sticky on the top, maybe like I am. And when you scroll later, you have Baptiste. And at the end, when you scroll the Baptiste up, it will go join the first div, and that will make the sentence I am Baptiste.
Okay, yeah, let's see.
I don't know.
Yeah, I got you. Div sticky, let's see. I have never tried that. Let's see. We just apply to similar div sticky, and let's see. Actually, when we scroll it down. Okay, wait. Is it at the top? And also, have you seen now what we should do actually? Our sticky should be all the time also some kind of, it shouldn't be more than the header, but at least the index should be kind of, 8 something, and it will be somehow visible, but still this is hard to. Anyway, I think this. Okay, maybe let's just put them next to each other. Sticky. I would like to be stuck in here. Yeah, as you can see, they stack each other. So we can.
So maybe we change the display like in line.
Yes, then we can change the alignment, or we can add also margin, or we can also change the position to come here. For instance.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so you can apply different style and you can move them, because now you don't make two things to be on top of each other. They are competing for place, yeah? They are competing for a position here. So you should use different, maybe we can see, let's apply for the sticky. Instead, like, how about a bit lower, Instead, top 20. So there will be some difference. But why it hide it? No, actually it's applying only one, if you have noticed. Oh yeah, because we didn't apply the SDK. Yeah, so we can go again, sticky text. Yeah, now it should work. Yeah, have you seen now? Yeah, and now let's change the difference to any pixel. Yeah, have you seen? There's a gap.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so you can maybe even make it more 150 pixel, and you definitely see the gap. Yeah, because it's too big, the gap is too big. Now one of your stick is here and the other stick is here. Or you can also push them to the other side, and that's possible. I think let's finish this by again explaining. So a static is something you get by default, and just everything what we have used in the previous exercise, putting everything one after another. This was built using static, and you don't have to change anything, the position. Just by default it is static. If you change it to position relative, you don't affect anything. Okay, if I change this to position relative, it will not affect the arrangement of the content, but it allows the children elements to move around, so it will be like a C. Yeah, that's great concept. So the children should be then, they can be relative, they can be fixed, or you can change to absolute. So absolute means relative to the position of the parent, if you just do absolute. And then fixed, whenever you want to fix something like this, for instance, we fix it this. So we see the header all the time when we scroll up or down. And sticky, the last and the crazy one, which was messy somehow. So for instance, it's a sticky, this is a sticky, this stuck in here, but you notice it when you scroll up to the top. It doesn't go, it's sticking here at the top, and you can make it stick at the top or the bottom or somewhere. For instance, this one stuck in here. Great, I think we're done with this positioning. But
sorry,
yes,
can we use also position for image? It works the same way?
of course, yes, you can.
Okay, perfect.
You can apply everything, like this kind of properties are universal, or I think it's better to say global. That means you can use it for all the HTML elements.
Okay, super, thanks.
Yes, another positioning is actually also a float position. I think float. Let me show you. But nowadays I don't recommend you to use float, because have you seen now this image? Yeah, this image. This image is actually float left. Yeah, if you change to right, of course it may change because the why it's not even the image.
It was already right. You need to.
Yeah, it's already right.
Left.
Yes, it should
Or
be
left.
left. Yes, so something like this. But I would recommend, if you know that you can change position by float, it is enough, because I don't recommend you to deal with float. It's an old way of doing and aligning elements. Okay, don't mess up with floats. But you can arrange with a float. Instead, we will come to CSS Flexbox soon. Okay, what do we have here? In the okay, now I think before the break, I want you. Let's cover this. Yeah, it is so quick. So, how many colors do we have in this world? How many colors? How many colors?
I think we have 3 colors.
Do you?
The red, the blue, and the green.
Yeah, that's the kind of a primary colors, are right? The blue, the red, the green, the blue. These are RGB. But totally in colors, we have about 255 times 255 times 255. Who could tell me the result of this calculation? I think it is about 1.67 million or 16 million, something like that. If you want to know, calculator. So is it calendar or calculator? I can have calculator. For some reason, it's open. If you see now 255 multiplied by 255, as you can see, what I see is 16.5 million colors. It's almost close to, yeah. So it's 6 gives 16.58 million colors. Can you name all of them? Who could name all these colors by name? So we mentioned that name, yeah. Yeah, it's only possible to name about 144 names. Red, green, blue, black, yellow, continuous, okay? So we can name few of them. So the rest will be described using RGB, hexadecimal, or HCl. Today we will see you know by name. So by name is red, blue, green, something like that. RGB is like using this way of expression. What does that mean actually? I think the best way is RGB. I can just RGB W3 school. They developed something there. Colors, yeah. So what's the name of this color? What's the name of this color?
Red.
Red. So whenever we say colors are made of RGB, this part is actually the red, and this part is
Green.
Green, and this is the blue. So usually this number goes from 0 to 255. So as you can see, we don't have green, we don't have blue, we have only red. How about if I change this to 0, all of them? It will be black because we don't have any of the RGB. 0, 0, 0. How about this is the green part? If I change it to 255, it should be green. How about if I change this to 255, it should be blue. And now let's mix colors, right? Let's mix colors. How about if I make this 255, that is blue, mixing with green, 255. I think it's yellow. And maybe if I change all this 255, most probably it gives me white. So these numbers usually represent red, green, and blue. The numbers goes from 0 to 255. And let me just change this. What's the mix of blue and green? I think it's a kind of such kind of color. Yeah. Now let's see also the mix of blue and this is blue and this red. I think it's a kind of a purple kind or so this color. I don't know. Yes, Do you get this? How to write RGBA?
Yes.
And
Yes.
you can change the intensity now by applying opacity. This A is just an alpha, and we can add opacity. I'm not sure if it's working here. So the opacity also going from 0 to 1. Let's go 0.5. Yeah, they didn't implement, okay? But it's also possible to implement. When we learn JavaScript, we can implement something like this, which can calculate. Okay, so this is not just a magic. You can develop something like this yourself. Yeah. So if you have noticed that, let me show you again. Let's change this to 0 because it's so easy to understand. 0, 0. Have you seen now this part? Now this is hexadecimal color. So this part is the red, and this part is the green, and this part is the blue. Okay, now let me change this to 255. Now this is changing. Actually, when you multiply this using hexadecimal, it gives you 255. How do we? Because in hexadecimal, the letters go from 0 to, I think I have to go to that hexadecimal. The structure RGB, and you should have this the hash all the time. Let me have this one front. We should have the hash, and then we should have some kind of number. For instance, this is black. To make it red, actually, FF. Okay, what is this FF? So I told you that these letters, all of the letters should go from 0 to 9. And from letters, we go from A to F. Why? Because hexadecimal, for instance, you and I, as a human, we count using decimals. We say 1, 2, 3, you know. Computers count using maybe binary or octa or hexadecimal. That means 16. So F means actually what is, so this should give us how much? 255. So F actually is 16. 1 times 16 the power of 2, right? I don't know. Times 16. I can't say 6 times 16 plus 1 times 16 the power of 0. 16 the power of 0 gives you 1. This gives us 250. How much is it? Let's calculate it. Calculate 16 by 16. 256. Yes. Okay. What's the, okay, hexadecimal values? Maybe I can hexadecimal values. Yes. Yeah, it's 15. As you can see, the value of this F is 15. So I should have multiplied it by 15. So 15 times actually 16. What am I doing here? I have already number 15 times 16. And we have another 15, another F, 255. Okay, so the calculation is actually, you have two F's. This one is, we multiplied it, as you can see, 15, this is 15 by itself, times 16. Okay, plus we have this again 15 times 16, the power of 0, the power of 0, but this one is the power of 1. The power of 1, where are these? 1, and this is the power of 0. Do you see the calculation now? For this gives us 240 plus this gives us 15, and totally 200. Yeah, that is. So what do you think the RGB for this? When you change this to RGB, it will be 255 00, yeah, 0 0 or 0 and 0 0. And maybe if you have, for instance, now it's a task for you. If I have DA, so this is 0 0, then I have to change this one. Okay, let's multiply. What is D? Yeah, D, as you can see, as we have seen here, it has 13, the value of this 13. So I have to multiply it like this. 13 times 16, the power of 1 plus, what's next? A is, I think, 11. So, but it's good to see. Actually, it's 10. So 10 times 16, the power of 0. So we have to multiply that, 13 by 16. 13 by 16. 208. 208 plus this part. This is 1, actually. It's this gives you 1 times 10, and the total will be 218. So let's change this to 218. Oh, yeah, have you seen the same color? We got the same color, and this is how you change. Did you get it, guys, or am I? So anyway, the numbers should be from 0 to 15. I mean 0 to F, the numbers 0 to 9, and the letters A to F. It could be capital and small, it doesn't matter, but be consistent. If you make them capital, keep it capital. If you make them small, keep them small, all at once. Okay, yeah, this is RGBA, the color and hexadecimal colors. So you have different colors, but why you really care that much? Because once you write, for instance, I go to the body, I come up this one, and you can just mix different colors. And for instance, if you go to the blue area, and then you can move, yeah. And then to make a bit shadow, I mean opacity, you can, for instance, if I just 3.5, it become now a bit like dimmed. Let's see. Have you seen? Now it's, yeah. What do you think, guys? Did you get the concept of colors?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, everybody is saying yes. So this is important because in this, for instance, in during the JavaScript, you need to develop it by yourself. I will ask you to develop something like color generators, maybe if there is one. Maybe I think 30 days of React there is already there. What is that? Okay, so that has some loading time. That's a bit, I don't see. Yes, for instance, I may ask you to develop something like this, So it's good to know how it works. I think one of the color generator even was, yeah, this should work. Yeah, for instance, if you want to generate maybe one cell, and you just click it, and all of a sudden you have all those colors. So this is possible using JavaScript. Yeah, and you copy, and have you seen it's copied? Is it a kind of a, let's see if it's that color. Yeah, that's true. We can see it's also here. Okay, let's have another 10 minutes break and we will return. Yes, after 10 minutes. Yeah, see you soon, guys. Welcome back. So let's see what we had so far. Let me close the things we've been using. And what is this page? This is the page from GitHub, but this is what we've been building. So as you can see, we have seen colors recently. We have seen positioning at the top or positioning anywhere you want. So position is very important. We learned a CSS box model. We covered quite a lot of topics today. So this, I hope this could help you to refresh what we've been learning. And now let's apply to what we have on the previous project actually on this. Yeah, so let's apply here what we have learned so far. Is that okay? That's much better, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So now it's time to beautify this. As you can see, we have lots of big pictures. The picture should be somehow smaller. This is somehow okay. What do we have in the projectors? In the projectors, okay. This also somehow okay. But if you see, we forgot this over here. No, this is not what we really need. Okay, so it should be at least somewhere around here. Now I think I can start by positioning this because this is really very annoying to be here and the color is not appropriate color. So I can go to the, let's see how it looks like. Actually we gave the very good div. So it has a div position and maybe I have to select this using some kind of ID or class. Maybe I can go ID. I can call it a row wrapper because it's an ID, or div arrow wrapper, and I can just go to the CSS. And now we are not working anymore on this file, so let me close. So where is our CSS? Inside styles, and I go all the way down to here. and maybe I can say icons CSS, and then hash but I think we have already, we wrote somewhere, because that red color is coming from a CSS, right? So that means we wrote it somewhere. Okay, maybe it's in line. If it's in line, oh yeah, have you seen now? We wrote it in line and it is in every page. But if it was written in an external style sheet, it is easy to modify it, right? So I have to remove from every page like this. That's the problem of using inline. Yeah, I have to go here, and so avoid using inline, okay? Because it's tiring to modify. And then I have to, I think we don't, yeah, it's clean, and I have to go down again here and remove up to here. And then again, we can remove up to here. Yes, great. Now we don't have that annoying color. So now the point is we want to push it to here. If you have only just one element, actually it's easy to just float left and it will be, where is it? Yeah, the problem of using float is actually you never know what's really happening. Yeah, but actually we can use, instead of float, how about display relative? Relative. So what I'm doing is actually, this is relative, then I can make, I can push this to the right. How? Okay, then I have to select like this, and then inside the wrapper A, and what is right 0, because we have to learn how to implement what we learned, right? But it didn't change as you. Why? Because I have to give this position. Tell me, position what?
Is it absolute?
Yes, it should be absolute, yes. But why am okay, after I applied that, the footer, where is, okay, I can override footer. How much the size of, okay. Maybe if we give it a color, we know where exactly it is. Color red again, and we, at least we can see it. Yeah, it is here, but as you can see, it's outside the footer. Yeah, so the footer is also should be, but why it's outside? We want it to be inside the footer.
Is that div outside the footer?
Is that? I don't think so. It's inside. Even, yeah, even not alone, we have another, this div wrapper, footer wrapper, this. Let's try. Does the footer wrapper should be also, because nowadays we use different Is that a class or yeah, it's a class. It's display also relative because making it relative doesn't hurt. Oh. Okay. Oh, okay, okay. Bottom. Don't see where exactly is my. Now I have it here. Or surprisingly, how it came here. Now even I think this positioning takes me longer time, but another easy way we can fix it flex. We didn't learn yet flex, and as you can see by default, the flex gave you there, and even you don't need this, and even you don't need all this, and justify content. You can say flex and this can fix it. But I was trying to implement it in a different way, in the way without flexbox. Yeah, CSS used to be very, very tough before modern CSS. Now, as you can see, now I just wrote it. I want you to be flex and how, and I want you to be at the end. Just if you just this change to start, it will be at the start, of course. Yeah. Or if you want it to be at the middle, you just make it center, this justify content, something like this. I can do it the other way, but it's taking me a long time. So let's fix it with this. So flex and you yourself fix it using using positioning. Okay, so we made our this arrow to the right, and now it looks good. Okay. And now maybe if you want this to be sticky, fixed, we apply the same thing what we did. So if you remember, let's see, but I think the good thing is the structure of our, everything is in a div, and we have yes and then main. So we can make the header just fixed. Let's see how it behaves. Header, position, fixed. Yeah, the structure changed right away. So what shall I do? As you can see, it needs widths. I have to the widths 100% because now, yes. But is it what I want? Yeah, somehow, kind of, right? But we want this to be at the top. How can I fix that? I think top 0 could help us. I saw something on top. You don't want this to be like this, yeah? So how do we fix that?
The index, Z index.
Yes, how much? Something bigger, because any of the other shouldn't be greater than this. Now, when you reach to the, have you seen everything is going underneath? But have you seen here? Some content is already hidden there. So your users do not see everything. Yeah, so we should push that. So we can use the main, because where is the main section?
Sorry, what was the reason you put that cheat?
Okay, yes, I will come. Okay, Z index, let's just close
Index,
that.
yeah.
Let's be in this page, or with this one is the one having, have you seen now?
Yeah.
You don't want to see when you reach on the header, we don't want to see something on top.
Yeah.
This should be under the header.
Yeah.
So to make it a back, I mean, what is it? To send it to the back, the back, bringing it back and front and sending it to back.
Mm.
So whenever you change the position, this to a very big number, you are taking it to the front. And something which has smaller value, go to the back. So now if you see, yeah, have you seen? Yeah, we don't see it. It's covered. Great. That's the purpose. Now, as you can see, some part is hidden. So we have to use some kind of a margin. And let's see margin this. If we give margin bottom 50 pixel, does it help? Margin. Okay, and the best way also to see where is the border. For border, 2 pixel, solid, and the green, for instance. Yeah, it's there, but why the margin is not affecting? So since it has a fixed property,
but should it be margin up?
Margin up.
Bottom.
You mean margin top?
Top.
But you want this to push this part from here to push the main. No, it's not. Then let's instead we can apply this on the main because we have a main. So we go to the main, actually main, and margin top. If we apply about 50 pixel, and we may see a change. No, 50 pixel is small, so you don't see because this is already big. So let's see about 150 pixel. Yeah, now as you can see, it came out. So, and also to see the different, I mean, the area, add just border, and then you just see the periphery, solid, and red is very good to look at. Still, there are some part still hidden there. Let's see if I make it to 150. Now it's too much. We pushed it too much, as you can see. But if we, yeah, now even it's like about 180, something like that. And let's see, 60. 55. Yeah, so some kind of. So as you can see, we pushed it from top, and now there's a space here. Yeah. Okay. You don't have to just make it to next to each other. We don't need this now, but we have just 150 is just enough. It's created already a space. Yeah. So I think the padding is also not much here. The padding is not enough inside the header. So let's create some kind of a space. Usually it's very good, you know. So we can have, instead of, if we apply padding, 50 pixel, let's comment this out for the time being. Yeah, do you know why I increased the padding? If I increase the padding, everything is increasing. So do you remember the box sizing border? Box is very good to avoid such kind of things, but still that didn't help me. So I have to make use of more of what is this? Yeah, now maybe it's 250 somehow pixel to get out. Yeah, great. So whenever you change some part, you will also affect. That's the problem. So if you don't know how to use these positions, it's better not to touch them. Okay, even I don't like the spacing here. There should be more spacing there. So I think that is, I don't know what was the name. So we have to go and check the name. It is title 1. I think I don't like the name of the title 1. Header title. Doesn't sound very leading, you know. Header. And there should be a kind of margin. Margin in all directions. So I want to give 20 pixel margin, and there will be a space. I think I don't see it. It was not affected. Oh, in here it's affected. Okay, great. So yeah, now we managed to at least fix it here. So Anna or someone asked me why we put everything like this, like one after another. Instead of also putting the images here, we can display the images here or here. Yeah, it's possible, right? But to make that, I think CSS box is so easy. Then I will use CSS box to make that possible. Of course, we can use also display inline block. Okay, first I think let's make these images smaller. Okay, where are the images? In the index, we go all the way down. If you remember, we have image somewhere around, section background, and this. Yes, section ID front end. Okay, great. I want you not to select image like this. I can select image. We can select the image, something like this. And then maybe width, let's give it 100%. Sometimes even the browser enlarge it and it becomes big, but this didn't help us. So let's try maximum width should be 100, only 100%. Have you seen now the difference between just width and maximum? So maximum width means the exact width of the image. Why is it? Okay. Now I want to make this instead the maximum width maybe 50. Even it didn't make a difference, right? Okay. Yeah, maximum, okay, 25. Yeah, now as you can see, it's getting smaller. And then maybe I think 15 per, let's see. Now it is somehow smaller, right? Maybe a bit bigger, let's keep it 20. And even if you want not to be smaller than this, you can also fix it. And if you fix it, minimum width is also 20%. That means this size will remain the same. It will not grow and it will not shrink. Yeah. Okay, good. So now, but I told you this affects like any image in the website. So the best way, we should target them by the name. Like for instance, front end. First, we can select the front end. Front and then image. It selects that. And also the one we have also backend. So we can use multiple selector with a comma. Oh, yeah, this is affected, but this is not. Maybe I didn't use the proper name. Maybe let's see. Yeah, backend as in one word. As in one word. I think the time is already over. How? Yeah. So.
Could I ask a question?
Yes.
Like when you are scaling the images, you're using PNG. Is it okay to scale PNG? Is there any like, it's okay to scale it however big you want? It doesn't matter.
Of course, if you scale it too much, it will be blurred. For instance, if you have seen the 100% width, oh, I'm not sure if I got the question properly.
Yeah, I think you understand. Yeah, I'm like thinking like, what are the limits?
No, no limit.
Okay.
There's no limit. It depends on the resolution of the image. But if you go higher than 100%, it will be blurred, and no reason also to go above 100. For instance, now you see this image very well, right?
Mm-hmm.
It has high resolution now because it's smaller than the real. So when it's getting smaller, it's really good. You can see it. But
okay.
If you put it 100%, for instance, it was not very good image. Why? Oh yeah, because this overrides. Let's yeah, have you seen here all this?
Yeah. Okay, that's strange, because I would think that if it's 100%, that's like the original size, so it should look great, right?
Okay, that's a very good thinking. But now what you see is actually it's not the 100% of the image. By the browser, it is even more than 100%. This is the 100. As used, this is the 100. The real size of the image is this one. Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, did you understand? It was magnified by the browser. The browser took it more than even 100%, even though you say make it 100%. Of what? 100% of the width of the screen, this.
Okay, I'm also thinking like, is there a problem when you're trying to make like, I don't know, like you have a responsive website, you want it to look pretty on your cell phone, on your computer, like.
I'm coming to that. I got the question already. So now image should be also responsive. Okay. For instance, if you make a maximum width, something like this, let's make this, guys, actually, as Shasta already, guys, then you have to be patient a bit. We have to make this image also responsive. Let's make display. I think it's good to make display block by themselves. They are not block. You should change them to block when it changes. But no, I mean, and then maximum width 100%. And then now let's change. Let's see how it feels when you change to screens. I think instead I can open the Control-Shift-I, and when you just click this, you see the mobile view. Have you seen now this image? Yeah, they are good, right? On the mobile also.
Oh, that's great. Sorry, how did you get that option?
Yeah, so maximum width, the maximum width and block should be like that. But
Oh, sorry, on the browser.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Control. I will show you again. Control-Shift-I, and then there is here the sign. You just click it.
Okay, thank you.
And then you can even change the type of the fonts. Okay, so now we don't want to, for instance, we didn't learn yet media query, but just for maximum width of 768 pixel, that means for different, so maybe we want this and put it here, but we don't display it block. We just keep it somehow. This is enough for us. Maybe we need another. So what it does this actually is when it's mobile, do this. When it's not mobile, we have the rest of the code. So as you can see now, it's horizontal, but if I change it to a mobile, it will be vertical. So we will come to that in another day, okay? So because we are going far. Okay, guys, let's just finish today's lesson. And tomorrow, next week, we will talk about the Flexbox. Maybe what we learn, I have to just give you a note and you may learn from that next week. Lesson, responsiveness. Responsiveness, accessibility, Flexbox, if we have time, CSS units. These are the units we learn, and it will be the end. And it's the end with me, but it's not the end for you, okay? Yeah, it will be. So how was your day? Let's rate your day today and we will finish.